I do like Office Space, but this brings up a story. Office Space came out at about the first time I had my first, it came out when I had my first real job. And at the time I was working for probably one of the worst bosses I ever worked for. I'll call the guy Merv. Merv was an interesting character because he was a micromanager. He liked to know exactly what we were doing. He would stop by our cube like every 15 minutes and we'd catch him like peering over the cue ball. And then the other thing he was real weird about is he didn't want us to talk to anyone else in the organization. So if he saw us talking to someone from another team, he'd take us back like to a secret room and ask us what we were doing and why we were talking to this person. And we'd catch him like eavesdropping on our conversations too. And the reason I'm telling you all this is because this manager looked exactly like, what was the character's name? Milton, the guy who they shoved in the basement of Office Space. So when I saw Office Space and that character came up, I don't think I enjoyed the movie like I used to. And I haven't watched it since then, but I should to see if I have flashbacks about the job. So I thought it was a great movie, and it was very reflective of my career in IT at the time. That character, I'm still just thinking about it now, gives me the willies. I have no idea what happened to that manager. But yeah, I went on a big tangent there. So There's my Office Space story that probably no one else in the world has.
Yeah. Well, funny thing, one of my early bosses at a co-op job, he looked like Lumbergh. So with the glasses and suspenders, and like he would come and, I mean, we worked on weekends and I was only getting $12 an hour, which was a lot, in college. I was like, this is fantastic. I get time and a half on the weekends. But he was like, hey, can you come in? We're doing shift work. Can you come in the afternoon and stay late? Luckily, I was pretty nerdy, so that was fine. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. What was your favorite part from the movie?
I can't remember the quote exactly, but Peter is saying, like, humans weren't meant to spend their time in cubicles. We're meant to be outside and like enjoy life.
Yeah.
So I think
very good.
A theme is going to come, through our conversation here around to that. But I always think about it, especially like once I got out of the cubicle and at least could work from home. I was like, this is much better. I could go walk outside, take a break. No one's like coming into my cube, looking over my shoulder. Yep. And all the FaceTime that you have to, spend just to like get promoted or something like that.
Yeah. Sometimes the best worker does not get promoted. That was always kind of depressing. It was the best brown noser, especially at the same company that I mentioned before. Yeah. I could go off on that forever, but we don't want to hear those stories.